So this week's note is another floral. I think it did its kind of similar note a few weeks back, or last week, or whenever I put these up, and that's orange blossom. Now orange blossom, I believe they're just made in different ways. It's obviously from the same, they're both made from the same flowers or whatever, aren't they? Just made in a different way, whereas neroli is quite sharp. Orange blossom, to me, it's almost sometimes can have a very waxy feel. It can be quite dense and syrupy and sweet. It smells of like a dark red sunset kind of thing quite often, and it's a very well used note, and it adds just that bit of warmth and richness and body to a fragrance, generally speaking. It is a note I do enjoy. It can sometimes, over modern times, because of the success of one very big orange blossom scent, can get a bit samey, sadly. People trying to recreate that one, but overall I do like the note. So yeah, let's get started. First up is Hush Hush from 4160 Tuesdays, and is kind of a fragrance that was Smurfy girly Claire's idea. Now Hush Hush is a lot of different things. It opens up quite like a sweet shop. It's got these kind of chocolate cigarettes, a bit of a kind of smell of an empty cigarette packet, sweets in there, there's violets and such like. But first, I think it's the orange blossom anyway, I couldn't be 100% sure. There's this kind of medicinal locket throat lozenge thing. It's like a honeyed citrusy thing that we have over here, and it has this beautiful magical, I absolutely love this element, magical element of that in the opening, like a dark rich dark red syrup, with the orangey flecks, and it's very, very nice. But as you get developed through the fragrance, and it becomes the violet side of things and with the iris and that become more noticeable, and it becomes a bit like it's meant to, like a 1920s kind of flapper girl kind of thing. The orange blossom to me is still there, but it's that texture, that kind of waxy's not the word, it's not as sickly as a waxy, maybe more like a honeycomb, but without that strong obvious flavour of a honeycomb. It's that texture to me, and it gives it a body and a warmth that just keeps going through it all, and it's very, very nice, and it dries down a bit musky and kind of lovely. It's a lovely fragrance, this one. So that's Hush Hush from 4160 Tuesdays and Smurfy Girly. Next is the niche one, and I've got a wealth to pick from this, but I thought I'd go mega opulent and not the obvious one, and that's La Prima from Milano Fragranze. This one, it's is it peach, osmanthus, davana, which give it, that very rich, fruity, delectable, sumptuous sweetness. There's a kind of a fir accord, I think, and a kind of a little bit of a naughty musk, and there's jasmine, and I think there's tuberose going through it. But the orange blossom, again, its job in this one, it does have a bit of that rich syrupy warmth that kind of amplifies up the davana and the peachy notes, but it gives it that, again, that kind of syrupy warm texture, and it's just magnificent. And the orange blossom just adds to that feeling of beautiful, rich opulence. How would I describe it? It's like a peach melba covered in peach syrup, and the orange blossom obviously adds its own kind of touch to that, but also that texture and that smoothness and that richness. It's magnificent in this fragrance, and this fragrance, full stop, is this pure tuberosy, peachy luxury. Jasmine, you know how jasmine can be sweet and sometimes quite big portrayal style. It's that kind of it's a magnificent fragrance. So that's La Prima from Milano Fragranze. Finally, it's a fragrance I mention a lot, and it hasn't been in a trio for a while, I don't think, and that's Dew Pomme. Now, when we talk about, like, this is late 80s, 1989, and it is what it is. It's a big, sweet, it's synthetic, kind of bomb of a fragrance. There's lots of notes going on. Again, similarly, there's the jasmine in there. There's cherry cough syrup kind of feel about it. There's musks, beautiful musks in there. But again, the body of it is the rich, warm. I suppose a way I could have described the other one is like an orange blossom amber coming out the tree, and you know, that kind of viscous, thick texture with a kind of sweetness and beauty. And that is what gives Dew Pomme its body, its breadth, its texture, its bigness, its delightful sweetness. And it's magnificent in this one. I am not going to waffle on. We all know what Dew Pomme smells like, especially if you watch my channel. I think the orange blossom is a very integral part of it, and it's something back in the day when I first started wearing this, I'd have no idea what the heck orange blossom was, or what it did, or what it smelled like. But it's such a massively integral part of it, with all the other notes that go in there. So that's Dew Pomme. And that's it. So yeah, obviously I'm quite an orange blossom fan, and it is used in so many fragrances and does slightly different things, and it has slightly different textures and feelings. Sometimes an orange blossom can be bright, but generally it's a darker, richer note, and it doesn't always have that texture I was talking about, but it can have that kind of honeycomby, waxy effect in a fragrance. And it also can be like literally a smooth, straight up nectar syrup kind of thing. It's lovely how often it's there to add a warmth, and what it mixes with, like I say, it could make it slightly medicinal, slightly fresh, syrupy, fruity. It mixes with the marshmallow of the famous one really well to make it smell like some sort of wonderful dessert. It's a fantastic note, and I see why it's so popular and so used. And there are creative ones out there. Not all of them smell like the famous one, so it's well worth checking out. So that's orange blossom. What about you? What's your favourite orange blossom fragrance? Do you like it when it's more fruity, or when it's got that texture about it? Are you more a neroli fan? So alright, that's it. That's enough of me waffling on. Thanks folks, bye.